blacksmith items just to, I suppose you could say, catch people's attention. And
well, it does.
Generally, for the most part, we talk about that because blacksmiths have been around a long time. It was a very big part of our history. But
there was a blacksmith shop at Huntersville. Have you been there with your display?
No.
Well, there's one there.
A permanent shop.
Huh?
I go to it every year.
Yeah.
A permanent shop or somebody that just comes in?
Yeah, I guess it's a permanent shop. Well, no, it's not like set up all the time. It's just for the display, but I don't know where they're from.
Where's Huntersville?
6 miles from Marlton on 39, going toward Warm Springs.
Oh, okay, that wouldn't be the one. Some people asked me to go to one over Sandstone Falls sometime next month, I think. And I may go, I really don't know.
Now, what do you work on in your display? You work on horseshoes,
No,
right?
I just threw those out there.
Oh, okay.
That's actually a set of pitching shoes. That's not shoes that the horse would wear. I shod horses when I was a kid at home and got kicked and bit and stomped and swore I'd never touch another horse.
That makes you what, a farrier?
And people confuse blacksmithing and farriers.
Yeah.
But the blacksmith trade as almost became non-existent until the automobile was built. The logging industry saved it once.
Yeah.
And
because they used a lot of horses.
A lot of horses, and they did become farriers for the logging industry when it was logging with horses. The blacksmith would go right with the logging camps and keep the shoes on the horses. But then when the logging industry started slowing down, the blacksmith was about to disappear again. But Henry Ford saved him.
Now, how did it just? I asked the dumb questions. How did that happen? I mean, what did he contribute to the process?
Henry Ford?
Yeah.
You used to see old automobiles. How old are you?
I'm 62.
Well, you probably even remember this. Back in the 40s.
Yeah, I can remember some stuff I've seen from that time.
Saw an old car going down the road, leaning over sideways.
Okay, like broken spring.
Or a weak spring.
Or a weak spring, yeah.
Just lost its temper. And people would, there was an old blacksmith lived close to us. His name was Winfield Smith. And he had a whole wall, as long as this whole building right here, with car springs hanging up on it. People would bring them in to have them re-tempered. And he had a big long forge like this. And he put that spring in there and heated up, and it had a vat right out in front made out of an old hollow chestnut or hollow gum log.
Yeah.
And he would just roll that off into that and had some hooks on it like that, and he'd pick it up, drop it back, pick it up, do that 3 times. And then he would take a little hammer.
To tamper with it?
No. You'll be surprised when you hear what he did with the hammer. Winfield had 23 children. 22 children.
Well, maybe he had to have a hammer.
Well, probably, so he could get to the table.
Yeah. So you said, well, I might be surprised. Maybe I won't be surprised.
Well, yeah, I still think he will when I find my hammer.
There's a hammer over here. There's a spade.
I was looking for a special hammer, a very small little hammer.
This?
There you go.
No, much smaller than that. I've got to find that.
I want to start with that one hammer I got a picture of from where I went to the Huntersville one.
Yeah, I had to say I didn't stop at the Huntersville one.
We always go to it.
But I wish I had of.
I was going to say right there, there's kind of like a hammer right back there.
Yeah, I see that hammer back there, and it's that type of hammer, but much smaller than that.
Oh, like the small.
I'll use it anyway, and then I'll find the other one later. But he would go up to one of those springs and he'd strike it like that.
So he could hear it. He'd tell the
He
temper.
knew how much temper there was in that. He'd
Yeah.
say if it had a dull like sound, it was too soft. Still didn't have enough temper, and he'd have to go back to the fort.
That's a skill he had to learn. And that wasn't in a book, I don't imagine.
Well, don't know. Don't know, might not have been, but anyway, there was a little church not far from where he lived, and they said that the teacher was teaching the kids about, and they was about old Smiths, I suppose,
Yeah.
in the class, and teaching about Adam and Eve, first people.
Right.
And when she finished her class, she said, "Now, can anybody in the class tell me who was the father of all living?" Kid held up his hand and said, "Yeah, Winfield Smith."
Winfield Smith. We had a man by the name of, probably by the name of Winfield Smith over on Beaver Creek in Burr Valley.
There,
We called him Winnie. Everybody probably calls him.
Here's an unbelievable thing. I know a man who's a descendant of Winfield Smith. Now, let me see if I can get this right. Winfield Smith was his grandfather,
Okay.
and he married a Smith, no relation, and her grandfather's name was Winfield Smith.
Well, you know, that probably goes, there was a General Winfield Scott, I believe, in the Mexican-American War. And that probably is, well, you know, it's probably amazing how many people have been named for historic characters, don't even remember who they were.
I used to teach genealogy for Bluefield State.
Oh, okay.
And as you go back through people like that, there was, after Henry VIII, there was all kinds of people named Henry.
Yeah.
Then after Roosevelt,
Yep.
all
Franklin.
kinds of people named Franklin D's. And
Wonder if there were any first names of Delano.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've known a lot of them.
Well, he was a well-respected man, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you a story.
Okay.
You know the town of Richwood.
Yeah.
You know Frank Spencer.
No.
Well, Frank told me this story. He's a great storyteller. He used to work up here in the Cranberry Mountain.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's a little town up north called Arthurdale.
Yeah. I know where that's at. It's in Randolph County, I'm pretty sure.
Preston, in
Preston,
I
okay.
believe.
Preston.
Tucker, maybe. It's in that area anyway.
Yeah.
But, you know, Eleanor had that built because it was a very, very depressed area. Scott Depot had, or not Scott Depot, but the town of Scott. She built out 4 or 5 of those. And they were supposed to be self-sufficient for people, and they did work. And if it hadn't have been for the Second World War, probably it would have really caught on. And then, but people moved out to Detroit and stuff.
They got jobs.
Yeah. If it would have continued to be a depressed period, it probably would have worked and saved a lot of people. It's a good idea, really. It just, history changed and it turned out to be something different. But anyway, she came down to visit that place once, they said. And as they were driving past Arthurdale, their car broke down. And she had to find a place to stay, and the driver took her over to one of the houses there and to stay until he got the car fixed. And she was sitting, and back then those houses were built without doors between rooms, and just had the curtains hanging over. It was a common thing to build it that way. And there was a little girl hanging on the curtains over there like this. And at that time, you know, everybody had a picture of Franklin Delano and Eleanor on their mantles. And the little girl was standing over there hanging on the curtain, you know, how kids were doing, sucking her thumb. She said, the little girl said, Do you know who that is in that picture? She said, yeah. Mommy said if I didn't quit sucking my thumb, I was going to look just like her.
Yeah. Well, I hate to say it, but she wasn't exactly a beauty queen.
No, but she was a genteel lady.
Oh, yeah, there's no question about her personality and her character and all that. She was a fine lady.
Yeah.